Hi, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to do a longer video of the film The Gorge by Apple TV because A, I like doing longer videos, and B, I love movies, so I think this one deserves a bit more of a talking about. So I'm going to turn it around. Yeah, so basically it stars Anna Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller. I know her from obviously Mad Max Furiosa. She's done voices in the Mario films, and also she's in this TV series called Lucky, which I'm going to watch after this. Kind of binge watch it while I've still got Apple TV. And yeah, so obviously I know him from playing Rooster in Maverick. To be quite honest, I haven't looked up what other things he's been in, but I loved him in that. I thought he was brilliant. And the two of them together, the chemistry was fantastic. So I did do one a minute ago, but obviously my storage was full because an idiot that I am, I forgot to uninstall all the videos. So I'm starting again. So basically, there's east and west towers, and there's a gorge in the middle. So the west side, Miles Teller. He's hired by Sigourney Weaver. Was fantastic. I love Sigourney Weaver. So as soon as I knew she was in it, I was hooked. And she always plays a baddie really good. And basically she hires him. He's got no commitments. Nobody's going to miss him. So basically, he's a lone wolf, and she can use it. And then on the east side, you've got Anna Taylor-Joy's character, who's very similar. She's not from Russia, but she's like Ukraine or Lithuania. And her dad, there's a scene with her dad, which is quite sad because he's dying of cancer. There's no cure. And he says that he's going to kill himself on the 14th of February if he's not dead already. But she's going to be away for a year, 365 days in the East Tower. So he's told her that. So on that day, she can light a candle and remember him. He was like an ex-KGB agent. Very well done. You know, it shows there's emotion on both sides. And yeah, so what happened was they dropped in, excuse me, by parachute, and for either side. And though you don't actually see how she gets to the tower, but on the west side, he's dropped in by parachute. He meets the guy who's there already for a year. Very pleased to meet him. Tells him a brief scenario that there's creatures in there that come out, and they've got an arsenal, that they've got bombs there, they've got everything, and their job is to kill them coming out the gorge. So the film starts off for about an hour, is about the intensity. It reminds me of The Lighthouse, you know, like there's two characters and the film based around them. It's the same with this one. So what happens was they build up this relationship, though no one in the past has ever communicated with the other side. You know, they don't even know who it is. I don't know why, because both sides have got binoculars. But it's very strange, but they're the only people there. You would think someone down the line would have communicated with the other side. But anyway, so on the wall it's got quotes from all the past people who have been in there, right back to the 40s. They only stay there a year and then they're taken back. But what happens is they get assassinated. By the time they get to the helicopter, they cut the rope and they fall into the gorge. So they don't actually survive after a year. So our two main characters, they start communicating, like she'll say, "What is your name?" on a card, and he'll see it through his binoculars. And he replied, "Sorry, we're not allowed to communicate." And she replied, "It's my birthday. I'm going to do what I like. My name is such and such." Deanna. Alright. So he replied, "Okay, my name is such and such. Right, happy birthday." So it's a rapport between the two of them, and the scenes of the gorge where these ghouls and that come out, or skeletons. There's a lot of elements from other movies in this movie, and it works quite well. So you get through about an hour of the movie, and it's kind of more like a love story, really, because they get this repertoire going. It's, big birthday, Christmas. It goes through, like, let's say September, October, November, December, January, like that. So he'll put up lights, and they get this report, right? And they're both lonely people, but female one side, male the other. So it ends up him going over there, and they have a dinner and a romantic interlude together. And you think, halfway through the film, all right, you see where the film's going. At one point, they're going to have to shoot each other, because it's inevitable with these kind of movies. But what happens was, on the way back, his rope snaps, and he falls into the gorge, parachutes into the gorge, because he's got a parachute on. And then she jumps into the gorge. So they're in the gorge. And basically it's like a wasteland of skeletons and fog, and it's quite, creatures coming out. But they're all different shapes. Like you'll get like a spider with a skull on it and stuff like that. And basically what they did is these ones on horseback, they kill them, and they realise they're actually ex-military personnel. So it was a bit different from what you found. They call it hell on earth. So when they went down there, they realised that a lot of these skeletons, that they were ex-military personnel. And as the film goes on, they find out that they were being experimented on from the 1940s to make super soldiers, basically. And what had happened, they had a bomb there, what was supposed to go, blow up if anything goes wrong, like an atomic bombs kind of thing. And what it has, one of them leaked and started radiation or whatever it has, mutating the soldiers with the animals and the creatures and the trees and so forth. But what was happening was Sigourney Weaver's company was still going in there to make super soldiers. So even though it was the premises, it's set in 1940s, there's jeeps and there's so basically the gorge was basically like a military base. It had like huts and all 1945 stuff. But Sigourney Weaver's company, they had still go in there with military. They had drones, and there's like modern computers and stuff like that. And they were still trying to find out how to mutate, even though these characters were mutated. Why do you want to go down the gorge? I would not know. But anyway, so I think it might have been done more robotically than humans down there. But they watched this video, and this woman from the 1940s explains what had gone on, and that even she was mutated, and no one was going to survive because of that. So while they're down there, they're investigating, and it becomes clear that it's a military operation. These aren't really creatures from a different world, or they're actually humans that just used them as experiments, and they were surviving. And so the scene's like in an old church, an old silo where the explosions are, and like you get to see like cocoons, miming very much like Aliens, with humans in it, and like feeding off each other and mutating, and so it did take elements from that. And you really didn't think one of them was ever going to get out, to be honest. So Sigourney Weaver's character, she comes in in a helicopter with the military to destroy him, because she had told him to kill his opposition, knowing jolly well on video footage she could see that both of them have been in the gorge and been lying to her. So she comes down, lands there, the hunt's on. And what had happened was the two main characters had like bragged about who had the longest shot and all that. Like, and she had done the longest shot in the world ever. And he had to do a shot to destroy. Oh, well, basically, I was trying to jump the gun. So basically, they're in the gorge, and they use a jeep to climb up the gorge as a hook, because there's a lake cable going down, and they use the jeep to go up the hook like an anchor thing, and they get out that way, killing it. So they end up back in the east side. And then it ends up him going across to the west side through a hook shot kind of thing. Very bizarre, very bit unbelievable, but it worked for this movie. So he's on the west, she's on the east side. And basically what they do is they shoot the targets of the... they got these dishes that make it impossible to know the gorge actually exists. So if it exists, the alarms go off. So like the Russian military don't really know it's there. All the presidents of the past didn't know it was there. It was all very hush-hush. So they use their long shots from either side, and they destroy all these. And now it's exposed to the world. Yeah. So, like, what happens is, in the gorge, because this alarm goes off, these, like, atomic weapon or rocket or whatever opens up and is ready to explode the gorge, like blow it up. So that's what happened. The alarms went off both sides. So Gorge River rushed into the helicopter to get out, but what happens is the helicopter gets caught in the aftermath of the explosion and destroyed. So she's killed basically. So what happens is, as it all happening, he falls into the river, and his counterpart, she goes off, and they were going to meet in France. And basically what they had 5 days to isolate to make sure they hadn't been infected, which they did, both sides. Well, she thought he was dead, but anyway. And so the premise is, after 5 days, they were meeting in France, and such like. But he left her a note in her jacket, which was a poem that he had written because he liked poetry. And it had said, "How much I love you," and all that lot. And she told him she loved him as well. All by notes over the gorge. And she goes and she gets work as a waitress. So the film ends with him turning up, sitting at the table. She had cooked him a rabbit pie while he was on the east side. And he loved it. And he said, "I love the rabbit pie." So the movie ends on a happy note of them two getting back together. It's quite a sentimental story, but it was well done. I really enjoyed it. I found it engaging. I didn't mind, didn't wander. I didn't go onto my phone. I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. I concentrate on the movie. I thought the two main characters were fantastic, and highly recommend this movie. It's called The Gorge. It's on Apple TV. I mean, there'll be other ways you can watch it. I won't say which ways, but there are other ways of watching it. But I watched it on Apple TV. Yeah, fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I would probably give it a 3.5, 4 out of 5. I think it's definitely 3.5, but bits of it were a 4 for me. I mean, I haven't looked up Rotten Tomato score or anything like that. I'll leave that to the experts. But I thought I'd share you that. It's probably going to take me a week and a half to download this video in 4K, UHD and all that lot. But I love making long film videos. Let me know if you'd like me doing a quick 5-second movie review. Sometimes it's very hard, especially if it's a film like this which has got a lot going on. And, you try to give them best elements. So this is like a spoiler video. More than my quick ones, I don't try and give too much detail. I'll just say, blah, 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 go watch it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Love you all. And for the 4 people who actually sit through 15 minutes of this video, thank you very much. It does mean the world to me. Leave a comment. Tell me, engage with me. That helps the algorithm on YouTube as well. Like the video, subscribe if you want to. Don't have to. It's all free. I love movies. I love TV shows and pop culture in general. Anyway, take care. I've got about 3,500 videos on my channel. Some of them are very old, like when I started out. I've kept them all on there for people to watch, see how it grows. My confidence through YouTube. It's helped my anxiety and depression very much. It's a great community on here. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Thanks for watching. Take care. Love you all.